Hello and welcome to SLP Full Disclosure. I am your host, Jennifer Martin, and joining me is my sustainably sourced food eating sidekick, Jonathan Cary.
Hello. That's a very specific one today.
Well, you're a very specific person, and
That's very fair. Actually, it's probably the most true thing anyone's ever said about me.
Yes, and I continue to learn things about you, and pardon the pun, but you gave me a lot of food for thought. You see what I did there? After our conversation about your eating habits and how you may not be responsible in any other area of your life, but you are when it comes to where you choose to get your food from.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I do eat very healthy compared to probably most people. But also you got to shake it up every now and again. Just go grab a pizza sometimes.
That's your guilty pleasure.
Yeah, definitely. That's my, if I could just eat pizza all day.
Yeah.
Then I'd have a big problem on my hands.
Well, I would question you if you had if you never had a cheat day, because you exercise a lot, you eat really well, you are really responsible about where you get your food from. So if you weren't devouring a pizza and then hating yourself later, I don't think we could speak to each other. That'd be a deal breaker.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's sometimes you just gotta throw down a whole large pizza by yourself. So
I know you do.
But hey, when you do bike rides that you burn 3,000 to 4,000 calories, then I guess you can get away with it.
I'm burning that too. In 2 months. So quit your bragging. We're all doing that.
Bragging, just telling.
Well, speaking of amazing food, so I was in DC. I went to ASHA, and holy moly, for those of you that live in that area, I need to go back and just have a food tour, because there were some amazing restaurants there, and just anything you could want is available. And so that was one fun thing, is being able to eat all the amazing food in DC, but also being able to be back in person at ASHA.
Yeah, you got to tell everyone about your experience there.
Yeah, so I've been to ASHA a lot. And of course, last year, we were not able to go because of COVID. But this year, we're excited to go, that it was on site, but also there was a virtual offering. And it was really different. Normally there's 15,000 people at ASHA, and I think there was a little bit over 5,000 in person. So it sometimes feel like, did we come on the wrong date? Where is everybody?
Yes, the pre-party,
I know. It was like, did they purposefully give me the wrong date because they wanted to avoid seeing me? Probably. But it was me and some other people then, at least, so I wasn't alone. And it was good. So the highlights were that there's just a lot of, I think, positive, really good energy with new grads coming out. I feel for them, because they just went through this pandemic and didn't have a normal graduate school experience. But with that being said, there was just I feel like people have developed a lot of resilience during this time, and being able to adapt and be flexible, which if you don't have those characteristics to be in when working as a speech pathologist, it's really hard. So I feel like in some ways they're going to be armed with just some nice skills to start out with. But yeah, just a lot of excitement with them about getting started. And it's always fun to see people that are still fresh in the field and aren't jaded. So that was really good.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you have advice for any of those new grads that maybe had that more unique experience through grad school, if they're going to be starting, into the profession soon?
Well, you know what I noticed too is that I felt like in years past, it's where I was speaking with a lot of soon-to-be graduates that would say, no, this is what I want. I'm only going to work with this population. I'm only going to do this. And that was a real noticeable shift this time, is that I feel like there was a lot more of, you know what, I don't know. I might do this. I might do this. I'd be open to this. So I feel like that kind of lack of control is probably the best way to think of it, that they had during their graduate school experience is actually going to help them as they enter the real world, because they just seem more open to, I don't know what I want to do, but I don't have to know right this second. And what I do for that first experience for my clinical fellowship isn't necessarily what I'm going to do for my whole career. So I noticed that was an obvious shift in their perception that I had not noticed in years past.
Yeah. Because I definitely know just from, us talking to, decent amount of new grads that people are pretty set in the, especially in the, whether they want to work in schools or they only want to work in like a SNF or something like that. They're pretty set in their ways. But yeah, I think it is important to try out different things, because then you don't know if you're going to like it or not, and it's like, and you don't have to do it your whole career. So yeah, that's definitely a big thing.
Yeah, I always have to take it back to a feeding therapy example, Jonathan, because, everything everything has some connection to feeding therapy in life. You just have to sometimes work harder to make those connections. But it's what I used to tell kids is they'd say, I don't want that. I don't like that. And it's maybe something they never had. I say, that may be your favorite food. What you are not willing to try may be, in fact, your favorite food. So it's the same thing. You may think you don't like that, but if you haven't done it, how do you know you don't like it? So yeah, so I would say that was an obvious shift. I also really felt a nice change with, I know that it's been a hot topic and a much needed discussion within the field of speech pathology, that it lacks diversity, and it has for a long time. And so I feel like there was a noticeable shift in starting to figure out ways to not let that be, so increase diversity within this field, because it's so important and, again, necessary. And I spoke with this great group, which if anybody has not heard of them, because I had not previously, but it's a multicultural student leadership program, and it's within ASHA. And it's just this great group of students that are soon to be graduates, or not soon to be. Some of them have a bit, but it was just a diverse group of future speech pathologists, and they work with different leaders and get mentorship. And it was really felt like such a good energy to be in that room with them, and just a lot of it felt good to see that those changes are being made. And I know there's a long way to go, but it was at least a nice start, and felt like it was an obvious difference that I hadn't seen in years past. So that was exciting too.
Yeah, definitely.
So it was good. I would say it was good. It was just nice to be with people again, and
yeah, not just virtual like the last 2 years. So
yeah, it was just nice to have conversations. And I forget what an interesting group that speech pathologists are. And there was just, it's fascinating once you really and that was nice too, is that with it not being as crowded, I felt like I was able to really have some great conversations with people and not feel rushed. And yeah, it's really interesting how people decide they want to do this, or different career paths. And so, I mean, it's an interesting group for sure. So now I think what we want to kind of talk about is that as we close out 2021, which I have been saying, I have been corrected many times, and I've had to actually edit some of my things that I've written, because I keep saying, starting in January 2021. It's like, oh my gosh, it's not, seriously, it's going to be 2022.
Yeah, we're about to be in the future,
I can't believe it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it seems like we lost a year. So
yeah, it's insane. Which also too, something my kids said to me was, that they were like, Bob, you were born in the 1900s. I mean, that was
that's great.
I was like, what? No. Oh, they're right. But yeah, as time goes on, it's like,
I know. I'm thankful to have been born in the 1900s as well. So.
I was like, I wear that badge proudly. So
but it's crazy that kids that were born in 2000 are now 21 drinking.
I know. So. It's crazy. So yeah, but I feel like we've done a lot of I feel like this has been a good year for SLP full disclosure. I think we've had some great guests and some really interesting topics. What do you think, Jonathan?
Yeah, I would say the same. I mean, we recorded this is our like 23rd episode this year, and definitely saw tons of growth, which was great. And also this year we also started our Instagram and YouTube channels, and those have been growing. So thanks everyone for following there. And if you're not already, definitely follow us on Instagram at SLP Full Disclosure, and go subscribe to us on YouTube as well. So, but yeah, those channels have been working out great. And just also the audio only version, vast majority of people still are audio only, which is cool too. So, you got to listen on your commute or things like that. So, but yeah, we also had a lot of great, interesting episodes, interesting guests.
Yeah. And I talked to a lot of people at ASHA, and that's what all of them said about their podcasts, where I always listen to my drive. So I think I think that's probably the most common. Now, if you really, really want to make yourself seem that you were not from the 1900s, but were born in the 1900s, you've appeared from the 1900s, there's something that you have to say when you're talking about the YouTube channel, Jonathan? What do people need to do?
Smash the like button.
Smash that like button, which I've heard that's like out. Don't say that anymore.
Is it?
Yes,
okay.
It is.
I don't think we ever really said that. I
say that all the time, and you tell me to stop saying that.
Yeah. Yeah, even when we're not even talking about YouTube, you tell me to smash the like button. I'm like, which like button?
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor.
Yeah,
and let me tell you how it connects to feeding therapy. No.
Yeah. I think there's some people that do it a little too much in their videos, and that it makes me actively not want to like their video, even if I like it. So
it makes you want to break the like button, disassemble the like button.
I'll unlike it, So I'm like, don't tell me what to do.
Pull the plug out of the like button. Okay. All right. Enough with that. Okay.
I don't think that's how it works.
I know. I'm from the 1900s. So. Come on, work with me here. But so some of the topics, just if you were not listening to us for all of last year, which you should have been, but if you did not, there's still a chance. And there were some great guests. I constantly learn. I feel like that the more I talk to our amazing guests, I learn something every single time, and I'm better for it. I'm better for it.
Well, you do have a lot to learn. So.
I do. I mean, there is. With that being said, it's helped me greatly. So we've talked about standardized and informal assessments, parent coaching, behavior challenges, articulation, teletherapy, living and working abroad as an SLP, which still is like, one day. We got to talk with my amazing friends from grad school about what we all wish we knew when we were starting our clinical fellowship. So if you are about to start, go back and listen to that one, because I still stand by, I wish I knew all those things. Executive functioning, teletherapy resources, talked about autism, leadership skills for SLPs, tech ideas for on-site and teletherapy, establishing an international SLP nonprofit. What else? effective strategies we talked about for re-entry post-COVID. We are still not post-COVID, so we have to just take that post out, but continuing for the next ever how long re-entry strategies.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be post-COVID soon.
I know. So. I felt like we shouldn't have said that. We shouldn't have said that.
Maybe we jinxed it.
We did. It was us. We did it.
Well, that was back in August. Things were looking pretty bright.
I know. We felt so good then. We just felt so good. Push-in therapy ideas, unlocking the superpowers of preschoolers, working with Parkinson's disease, early intervention and play-based therapy, and childhood apraxia of speech and dysarthria. So a huge range of topics. When I'm thinking about it, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was a ton. And yeah, just to highlight a few of those that, had a lot of downloads and so people, maybe a little bit more interested in was episode 44 with Tara Sumter for executive functioning and student success. And then also episode 39, which is our articulation episode. And then episode 43, which was, what I wish I knew starting my clinical fellowship. And so those were kind of three of our most popular ones this year. And so definitely encourage everyone to go back and, listen to that. And also if you don't maybe want to listen to the whole thing, if you already had listened to it, we have some of those highlights on our YouTube channel. So go check those out.
Yeah. And another thing to add to that is that so many of our guests have really great Instagram pages or websites where I was just saying to somebody yesterday that one thing, and again, I don't know if this is true of every other discipline or field because I'm not part of those fields, but I feel like SLPs are so generous with their knowledge and there's not this, I know it, I'm not going to tell anybody else. It's this very much, hey, I've learned this is what worked for me. Try it, use it, do it. And I will tell you that go back and look because anybody on here who has an Instagram page is I've learned a ton from them just from their Instagram pages or their websites or their create materials. So definitely look at the show notes to find out how to get in touch with any of these amazing guests.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And also I would encourage, everyone, we will be coming back in January with new episodes. And so we already have some of those planned out. But if there's topics that you want to hear more about, or specific people you want to hear from, definitely send us a message on Instagram, and let us know, and we can get those lined up for next year, which should be exciting. And we definitely have a lot of fun topics and guests. So
yeah, or you can let us know if you want to hear less from people like Jonathan.
Yeah, who's that random guy?
Send those directly to me. I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
No.
So I expect more fan mail than hate mail. So
I tease. I kid.
So, and if you really love the podcast, definitely leave us a review on Apple Podcasts because whether a 5-star review or a written 5-star review, if it's not going to be 5 stars, feel free not to leave your review.
What about 4.5?
I don't think you can do that.
Oh.
So
I'd say 4 still works.
Yeah. So, but yeah, if leaving a review definitely helps out the show and lets us know what, you like or you don't like. So definitely encourage everyone to go do that.
Yes. And some of the topics that we would love and we're hoping to have more of for this next year are, I know social language is a big topic. I'd love to do more with that. Continuing with our executive functioning. And there's still, I feel like we've just barely touched on that. And there's still so much to learn there. I think some other things that I'm really wanting to do this year are, there's so many just SLPs that have really cool stories, and I want to bring them on to just hear their stories and their professional journey. and even do some more kind of case studies for this next year where we actually talk with SLPs and break down, here's a case I had, here's what I did for assessment, here's what I did for treatment, just to kind of, I think that's good for others to hear, whether you're a new grad or been doing this for a while, because it just kind of helps you think about things differently. And I have learned professionally more from colleagues or other SLPs than pretty much anybody else. Any books, any courses, any classes, I've learned the most from other SLPs along this road. So we hope that we can do the same for you all. But yeah, and like Jonathan said, please, if there's something that you think, because I mean, that was part of our wonderful Laura Baskell-Smith, who spoke on apraxia, who's wonderful. But that came about because one of the listeners said, I really would love to see more on apraxia. So we definitely do listen to those requests and feedback. So don't hold back. Let us know. But yeah, thank you for all you've done this year, Jonathan. I know there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that even I don't know what you do half the time. So
I don't even know what I do half the time. It's been a fun year of creating, lots of great episodes. So definitely looking forward to what we've got going on for next year. So
yes. So SLPs, or even if you're a non-SLP listening to this, enjoy your winter break that's coming up soon. Whether you're in a school, a medical facility, wherever, private practice, whatever this time of year looks like for you, I hope you are able to have a little bit of downtime and get yourself rested and rejuvenated for 2022. Now I got to keep saying it so that it sticks in my brain.
Yeah. You're going to be writing on all your forms still 2021.
Yeah, I am. Trust me. If we still had checks, I remember it took me a good year to start to, I'm like, but now I can't remember the last time I wrote a check. So.
Yeah, I know that back in the good old days, I know you'd always have to be like, what's the date?
Yep. Or the grocery store line was real long because everybody had their checkbook out.
See, that was before my time, checkbooks for grocery stores. So
once in a while, you'll still see one.
But I would always, have to use checks for other things. But
yep.
But now it's just digital. So
yeah, now it's such like boop, or
yeah,
it's just too easy to spend money these days.
I know,
and not even know you've done it. So, well, thank you, Jonathan, and thank you, listeners, and I hope you have a wonderful next month, and we will look forward to reconnecting with you in January. And that wraps up this episode. Thank you for tuning into SLP Full Disclosure. For more information about this episode, check out the show notes on our website at medtravelers.com/SLP Full Disclosure. And don't forget to leave us a review and subscribe so you never miss a guest. Are you interested in becoming a travel SLP? Visit medtravelers.com to learn more and explore the exciting opportunities we offer at top-level facilities across the country. Also, a special thanks to Jonathan Cary for producing this episode and Aiden Dykes for the music and editing. And as always, this episode was powered by Med Travelers. See you next time.